second. And so now what I would love to do is just invite our panelists to share and give quick introductions. So I'll go ahead and start with you, Caitlin from UCCS. I'm so sorry. If you want to just answer those questions on the screen for us, that would be wonderful.
Okay, oops. Okay. I go to UCCS. I'm in the OS program, and I am a senior at UCCS.
Awesome. And what are you studying?
Oh, sorry, I didn't see that. I'm studying sports management.
And why are you studying that? What do you want to do with that in the future?
I want to do something with a sports team.
Awesome. I love it. Okay, I will have our UCCS parent, Lisa, go ahead and give your introduction for me.
Hi, I'm Lisa Arnold. My daughter Grace is at UCCS and she is a junior.
I know her.
I know you do. I know you. She is studying science, biology, and nutrition. I'm a former board member of IN and extremely passionate about all this.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lisa. All right, Maggie, how about you go ahead?
Hi, everybody. I am Maggie, and I'm a UNC Bear.
Woo-woo.
I am in freshman, and I'm studying to be a child life specialist because I like those people. And I think that they're great. They're very great, helpful people when it comes to hospital stress management, and also when people have to do their procedures that they just don't want to do it. So that's me. That's me. I don't want to do those things, but I have to do those anyways. But yeah, I'm going to be a child life specialist.
Awesome. I love that. Well, thank you. And I'm seeing a few other people hop in here. Max and May, are you guys able to unmute yourself and jump in and do some introductions for me?
Yep. Hi, we just had it muted just so I'm sorry, we joined the Google Meet.
I just saw your voicemail.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've had many mistakes already today, so I'm so sorry that I confused you guys.
No worries. No worries. Do you want to start, Max?
My name is Max McDonald. I go to Arapahoe Community College. I want to be I'm a freshman, and I want to be I want to be a librarian assistant. And why I want to be a librarian assistant? Because I like to read and help people.
Awesome. Thanks, Max. May, if you want to give some background to you as well, that'd be great.
So my name is actually Mame, so I don't know why it's not on there, right?
Thank you.
That's okay. I'm Max's mom. Well, I'm obviously not in the program, but Max is 23 as of last month, and I don't know, we're really happy right now with the Arapahoe Community College and happy to share about that experience. So
thank you so much. And then Kim, I would love for you to jump in as well.
Hello. Yeah, I was over on Google too. So I am Noah Fuller's mom. He just graduated from the program last year and is working for the Gold program over at UNC. What else do you want me to say?
Yeah, that's great. Do you remember what Noah studied, what his major was?
Communications.
Which is perfect. We actually just had Kim and Noah present at an event yesterday, and Noah gave a wonderful presentation about his college experience. So it's been really cool to see that come to fruition. So thank you.
Not have jumped over from the other call because he was on the other one, but he's not in here now.
Okay,
Yes,
yeah, I can try to text him again. Noah,
Okay.
you're here.
I am here. I'm just muted.
Awesome. You're up, sir. Give your introduction.
Hi, my name is Noah. I went to UNC for the Go program, and I just graduated this year, and I'm working with Gold now.
Yeah, and what's your job title now, Noah?
Outreach ambassador.
Say that one more time.
Outreach ambassador.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, thank you, panelists, for being here again. I appreciate your grace with the technical difficulties, but really grateful for you to be able to share your experiences. Before some of you guys jumped in, I just made it a point that I want this to be a panel-led webinar. So I'm really going to toss it up to you with the questions that we have. We're going to start with just these prepared questions. So I'm not going to force all of you to answer these, but would love to call on a few of you to answer these questions, and then we'll open it up to Q&A afterwards. But we're going to go ahead and start with this first one. What made you decide to go to college? Or for us, our parents, what made you decide to send your students to college? So if anybody wants to start with that question, I'd love to have you jump in.
Well, Noah always said he was going to go to college because his siblings did. And so, like I said yesterday at the breakfast, I didn't know how that was going to happen, but we always encouraged it, and this came along.
Noah, do you want to speak to that, of why you wanted to go to college so badly?
Because what my mom said, just my siblings went.
So, Caitlin, what about you? The senior on here, what made you decide to go to college?
Wait, did you say why or how?
Why, more so? Yeah.
I just wanted to go to college to learn and do fun stuff on our campus. And meet new people and meet new friends.
Yeah, awesome. Maggie, what about you? I saw you unmute yourself for a smidge.
Well, what made me decide I need to go to college is my full of support people. My support people and teachers and people from in really want me, and friends and everybody else, really wanted me to be really independent. That was mostly what my parents wanted, and my teachers wanted me to have good education, and my friends wanted me to really like learn more about myself. So like we all decided that for me to go to college would be an excellent thing for me to do, and it makes me my mom and dad very proud that I'm in college right now. And so yeah, that's why I did in college, because of from the love and support of people.
I
So
love that, Maggie. I love that. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, I agree on that, Maggie.
Wonderful. Max and Mame, what about you guys?
I wanted to go to college because I wanted to learn more things about me, about not just education, but about myself. And I also wanted to get a degree and kind of do something different with my life. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that I think the timing for Max to go to college right now is good. Doing the transitions program, I think just needed a little bit of more time. So we had, I think, a year between before the college was appropriate. And I think it's helping Max gain some independence by attending class and having some free social time, which is tough to navigate. They support them pretty well. I think too much support is not good. So I like the amount. And I think Max just has a lot to grow still, just as a freshman, just stepping right in, but you've risen to the challenge. So it's
yeah.
good timing for us personally.
I think she's frozen.
Awesome.
There you are. You were frozen.
Oh, sorry.
No worries. I would say when we first started looking at college opportunities, when Grace was in, I don't know, 6th or 7th grade, and was super frustrated and mad and sad that there weren't anything available. There weren't any schools available at that time in Colorado. And I, over my dead body was I sending her out of state when we lived here. So, and she had all of her cousins and everybody that was going to college, and she wanted to be a part of that, I think. So, it's been amazing. The last 8 years have been really amazing. The numbers that we have of kids in school, the graduates, what they're doing, and the expansion that we're going to be going into. That was really cool yesterday at that breakfast. That was really great to see.
Yeah, I love that. So Lisa's speaking to our movement really in 2023 to have more colleges open their doors to students with IDD, so that we're having more and more programs and more choice. So we're really excited about that because it's a high need. And yeah, we're excited that Colorado's joining in.
Congratulations to In. Yeah.
I know.
Maggie, I love it. Okay, so I'm going to jump into our next prepared question, which is, what are you most excited about? Or sorry, what were you most excited about when it came to starting college? And what were you most worried about? Sometimes that's a really common question, or just some feelings that I sense from students and prospective families of like some worry, but also excitement. So if panelists just want to share, what were you excited about, or what were some worries that you faced?
For me, what people for me were most excited about was me being independent. And for me, what my most fear was being homesick, because I hear that people get homesick all the time, even me and my mom and my dad, and people still keep talking about it because I feel like it's an important subject sometimes to bring up. But before even I was introduced to college, like after school, like me and my parents had a very long conversation about sickness. So people who are starting to go into college, just be prepared that you maybe experience some homesickness, and your parents would definitely experience the same thing as you do, because they don't want to leave their child behind to a college unless if they think that they're ready for them to go to college.
You are so right. Homesickness is such a normal part of the process, for sure. I'm glad you guys have chatted about that. It's important. Anybody else have key excitements or worries that they experienced when they went to college? Go ahead.
What I was most excited about with college was making new friends and experiencing campus life. What I was most nervous about was a lot. Nervous to make friends. I was nervous about the homework. I was nervous about just socializing and work and how I'm going to balance the two. And yeah.
Yeah, those are all really valid, Max. So Max has actually been a mentor for us, for other high school students that are interested in college. And my favorite thing about Max's mentorship style is that she told people that it's really okay to be nervous about those things, but empower them to keep moving through the challenges. So you've done an awesome job at that, Max.
Thank you.
Yeah. Caitlin, what about you?
Wow. What was the question?
What were you most excited about when you started college, or most worried about?
I was excited to just meet new friends and staff and learning about the campus. Nervous into homework and where to go and what time to be there, but now I got it down.
How did you learn to get it down? Like, how did you navigate that, Caitlin?
I just went all around the campus to figure it out.
I love it. You took it on yourself. Way to go. Thanks for sharing that. All right, Noah and Kim, what about you guys? Were there any key things that stood out to you that you were really excited about or worried about when Noah started?
I guess just like any mom with any college student, you worry a little bit about, they're out on their own and will they take care of themselves, or be a 19-year-old boy that, throws caution to the wind, but we were just super excited that he had the opportunity to go, and he was familiar a little bit with campus because his older brother had gone to school there, so he had been on the campus prior to, and I think he spent the night with Keegan once or twice there too. But yeah, I mean, it was a mixture, but we knew that was the right place for him. What do you think, Noah?
I think I did spend the night once with Keegan at campus one night.
Did that make you feel kind of prepared to be there?
Yeah, it did.
Good, good. What were you most excited about when you started college, Noah?
Meeting new people.
Do you feel like you got that accomplished in your 4 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Was there anything that you were super nervous about when you first started?
I guess it was like, what are my parents going to do with no kids at home?
Yeah. You were worried about them.
A little bit.
That's awesome. I love that. Thanks for sharing. Lisa, what about you? What was your perspective as Grace was getting ready for college?
Well, she started right before COVID. So freshman and most of sophomore year was COVID. So, but probably the same, the usual worries about that, being able to accomplish things, get things done. I mean, she got lost on her first year, around campus, and there were definitely some moments, but I think that's probably pretty typical. But super excited, it was just like a dream come true for her. And after all the work we did to get this going, and, it's just been a fantastic experience. And I think one of the bonuses is for our family and our friends and our larger community up here in Evergreen to see that and what's possible, because Grace has 2 friends, one of whom is at UCCS and now one is also at UNC. So, it's expanded, and that's fantastic.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's encouraging to hear. I love that. Okay, so one thing that I really wanted us to camp out on as you guys are chatting with, we have people attending this webinar that are curious how to prepare their students or their clients or their children for inclusive higher education. It can feel really daunting. So there's lots of pieces here. You guys don't have to address all of them, but just to consider, like, how did you prepare academically for college? What are some things that you were prepping for, or for our families financially? How were you able to bring together resources to make this possible socially, whatever it might be? I want you guys just to think about, how did you prepare to start your college experience? And Lisa, just because I know that you have lots of wisdom on this, I'm going to ask you to kick it off, if that's okay. If you want to share, your preparation story with Grace on how you guys, got started with it.
First thing for parents and students is to make sure you have college in the IEP. And you need to start at the middle school level because there are some schools that have buy-in and some schools that still not quite there yet. So getting the college into that IEP so that has to be recognized, and it has to be, those services need to be delivered. That's the first thing. And then just that, I'm not going to touch on finances yet or anything like that, but just that academic, get the IEP done, and then make sure that people know about it so that those parent, friend, family supports, like, is it Maggie at UNC?
Yep.
She was talking about the supports, and getting, the more you talk about it and make it more real and get those supports of family, friends, teachers, community members, and just make it known. I think that makes a huge difference.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
I would agree. And I would also say, like, especially for students, that like, how I personally prepared is look at all of the colleges first, think about all of the options that you have first before you narrow it down to like 1 or 2 or 3 schools, depending on how much your college counselor or your parents want you to see how many schools as possible. Because like
I think
one
we
of the
lost you.
parents said, I did not was such a thing as like inclusive and stuff like that. So I'm excited to finally be in college.
Awesome. Thank you. I love that, Maggie. So just in case some of you missed it with it having some bad connection, she talked about the importance of looking into multiple colleges and multiple programs to see what the best fit is. I love that.
Well, and Noah had it not only in his IEP, but in his plan for DVR. And so the first couple years, they actually helped pay for his goal tuition part of it, which helped a lot. And then the last couple of years, they gave the school money, but Noah didn't get credit for it on his thing because they redid how they were doing things. So that was a little frustrating on our part because we were kind of counting on that money from them for all 4 years and we only got it for a couple. But it is a financial commitment to send them, you know, and if Noah doesn't have a designated disability, and so I know with some disabilities there were scholarships, but we looked and looked and there was really no scholarship fit for Noah, so that was kind of frustrating in itself too.
Mhm.
So how I prepared is during the summer I had a friend and she was going to college too, so we kind of talked about that together and talked about like what to expect. So I talked to friends and family members about college, and also I'm planning.
Yeah.
I'm nervous. Yeah, I'm also thinking about transferring to UCCS, and I'm preparing myself for that because I haven't lived on my own for a long time. So I'm just trying to prepare myself mentally and trying to figure out, okay, what do I need financially, socially, like you said, and trying to transfer into a new college and live on my own. So
Very exciting, Max. That's awesome. I believe in you, girl.
thank you.
Mhm.
So that's what I would say with our particular situation. And I don't know how many people fit the same, I guess, frame that we do, but Max's social emotional needs are a little bit higher than some. The academic, I feel like the school prepared Max well. And so I think we just had to overcome a little social emotional anxiety and stuff like that. And I think doing it honestly has been the biggest hurdle, right? Like just getting there and realizing it's okay. Financially, we do have support through DVR, and we do have to pay some ourselves. We've done that through her ABLE account. So that was something that we did fund a little bit. So it's kind of nice to have that to use. And then I guess she lives with us. So hopefully maybe we can even elevate higher and go to an independent living situation at the school, or supported one. But that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Caitlin, what about you? Do you remember what you did to prepare for college to feel ready?
I just prepared and did what I had to do.
I love it. Just kind of tackle it as it comes. So one of the questions, sorry, say that again, Caitlin.
Yeah, just tackle it.
Tackle it. I love it. One of the questions that was popped in the chat, I think, is kind of addressing this preparation stage. She asked, how many of the students here took a transition year or years, and what did they do to prepare them for high school while you were in transition? So I believe it was you, Max, I think, that said that you went to transition for 1 year. Was that accurate?
Yes.
Yeah, for 2 years.
2
Mhm.
2
years.
years. Okay.
Yeah,
Was there
I
anything?
the one?
And you did one. Maggie, do you remember, did you come straight out of high school or did you go to transition?
So I was in middle school and then they transferred me to high school and then from middle school to I went to a new high school. And so that the new high school taught me about and that way that's how I got into the college.
Okay, so you came straight after you graduated high school.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Lisa, did Grace do transition?
She did not. It was, it was in the midst of getting redone and it was a mess. And I was like, absolutely not. It was just, she did go to Red Rocks, which does not have a supported program. And I do think even though it was it definitely had some problems, we found a couple of professors who were very interested in being a part of her experience. So she did end up having some good supports, but it definitely helped prepare her because she would get dropped off at the door and she'd need to navigate. And, so that was definitely helpful getting her prepped for school.
Yeah, Noah, did you go to transition before going to UNC? Oh, you're muted.
I was fresh out of high school.
Okay, cool. Wonderful. Yeah, so just to speak to that question a little bit. So whether students go to transition for a couple of years or not, some of the preparation skills that we talk to transition staff about is really helping students own their schedule, because there's lots of autonomy when they get to the college level to have to know where to go and how to navigate their schedule and have reminders on their phone. So fading that so that students have independence when they're in transition or even in high school is really helpful. And we still talk about the importance of academic growth during transition, because students in college, you have to read and write a lot. And so that's an important thing to include if students are continuing in transition, even if it's basic reading and writing emails, that's going to set them up for success just to maintain that academic component, which some transitions don't tend to focus on. So those are some things that we've seen have been helpful in the transition season for students. And Liza, if we didn't answer that question well, feel free to hop on and ask some follow-up. But yeah, go ahead, Liza. I don't know if you want to.
No, I think that was very helpful. Just also, I'm assuming it sounds like whoever the people that did do the transitions were done through their school districts, or did they do something different? Like, I'm just kind of curious. Because it sounds like it might be helpful for some, some kids to, or young adults to get a little more prepared and maybe figure out maybe what they really want to focus on once they go to school, which is the same for everybody.
Right. Yeah, I think by and large, and you guys can speak into this if you think it's different, but by and large, those that kind of take that gap year, it's transition through their school district, just because that's kind of the natural pathway. But I mean, Lisa's story with Grace is she just tackled some community college classes. And I'm sure, Lisa, did you offer a lot of support to her to help her do that? Or did you guys access any outside support?
They have a disability office there that gave Grace some extended time. And then it was really me at first, and then Grace advocating herself with those two very supportive professors that actually modified some of her work, which the disability office was not going to do. So it was a challenge. It was tough because I was at work all day and then she'd be at school, and we try and pick things up in the evening. So it was a little bit of a challenge, but it definitely, I think it gave her confidence.
Yeah, thank you. All right, well, here's my last prepared question for you guys. I would just love for you to share how the programs that you're in at UNC, UCCS, and ACC have supported you so far? So you guys have talked about things like academics, modifications, things like that. Like, how have these programs actually supported you during your time at college? And I'll open that up.
Well, for me, I guess like one of the biggest things I would say, especially for new families, is that peer mentors are like part of the college experiences. Like, not a lot of people know that peer mentors are actually part of your college experiences, but peer mentors are amazing people that just help us with homework, and help students with independence and social lives too. So I feel like the inclusive education has really good people that are like students,
Mentors.
but they help people with disabilities be in the college setting. So that's how I would say, like, the peer mentors are just amazing. That's all I'm going to say, is that peer mentors work really hard and they're just amazing people that help me, especially me and other people with.
Awesome. Thanks, Maggie.
Yeah, they're the best people that help.
And I'm curious. So Maggie, I just want to kind of pick your brain a bit with living on campus, because you're living on campus at UNC, right? How have the peer mentors helped you with that?
So when we got to UNC, there were a peer mentor that helped me move some stuff into my dorm room, or like helped me like check in and all that. And then like for me, I had a lot of bug problems, which is kind of a funny topic to bring up to a panel, but I had bug problems, and so my peer mentors helped me, like told me how to do a work order that could help me get rid of the bugs and help me be more independent to ask for more support.
Awesome. I love that. Thanks, Maggie.
So Maggie, can I ask a question? Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Please.
So Maggie, how do the peer mentors, how do they interact with you on a day-to-day basis? Not just moving in, but every day?
So with every day, it is different. Mostly it's just like, hi, how are you? And all that friend stuff. But sometimes if it's like a difficult topic that I have to bring up with them, I usually go by myself with the peer mentor to a different area of Turner. I live in Turner, the building, or we go off somewhere else so that way I could be alone with them. And so the way that they interact with us is probably the same way as everybody does, but it's kind of like, it's like friendship. So like people are always there, like peer mentors are always there. You see them mostly every single day. Sometimes you don't, depending on like their schedules, but usually I get to see them every day and it's just awesome. So it's an amazing thing to have people around, always there for you when you need them, for all the fun stuff and for scary situations.
Yeah, and I think Lisa could probably speak to that too from the UCCS housing side, because I know Grace lives on campus. So if you want to share a bit about their support.
Well, and Caitlin, you could probably speak a lot to the peer mentors as well.
Yeah, I could, yeah.
Well, I know one thing for UCCS, there's a variety of peer mentors. Grace has some academic mentors. She has mentors that like, hey, Caitlin, are you going tonight to the hot cocoa and PJ party?
No, I'm not. I got something to do.
Okay. So I know mentors help out with the driving and getting students to and from, particularly now that it's dark outside. So they help with that, but they're eyes on. So they're eyes on as students are moving around campus, but also at the apartments, because at UCCS, they don't have dorm living, they have apartment living, which is on campus, but technically not. And the mentors come in and do apartment checks for cleaning, making sure things are safe and clean, and that the kids are, you know, picking up after themselves as well as college students do. So what do you think, Caitlin?
Yeah.
Well, and Noah, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the peer mentors helped him with even taking him to the grocery store.
Mhm.
I think they had
Yep.
where they went and had dinner together. You know, they'd go to somebody's apartment and make dinner or make cookies or something. Is that right, Noah? That was your peer mentors you were doing all that with, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
they
sometimes,
become part of their lives.
I could say something too, is that sometimes want to be want to be around peer mentors, but it's usually kind of depending on the weekends, but sometimes it's usually one-on-one or two-on-one. And we do like activities like go get ice cream during the weekend, or like learn about like something cool that's happening around. And I would say one of my peer mentors are in charge of the events here at UNC. So she's the one that makes sure that every Friday event is happening. And so that way, like, people don't get bored and we can actually do something fun. And like I said before, there is a Christmas party happening. So that's a good sign that they're actually wanting people to go to events instead of having us stay in our dorm rooms all night
Yeah.
long.
That is good.
You've experienced a lot of those community activities, Caitlin.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, well, I will just give space for panelists and or anybody really here, or sorry, those that are attending, just to ask questions of our panelists. You guys can ask about a specific school or just toss out a general question. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask, or you can use the chat. I'll help guide that too.
So I have a couple of school specific questions. I'm wondering about, so when we toured University of Colorado at Colorado Springs, our primary concern or thing that I'm just wondering how it works out is it seemed like it wasn't a very walkable campus. It seemed like it would be hard to kind of get around independently, like you were dependent on a shuttle, or like Lisa just mentioned, needing a ride to the, Lisa, I think you mentioned needing a ride to the grocery store or whatever. I'm wondering sort of what that experience is like for Caitlin and Grace, and what you guys think about that. That was the biggest drawback that we thought about UCCS.
Okay. Well, UCCS is so small that it only takes like
Yeah.
15 minutes to get from the apartment to Roaring Fork on the opposite end. So it's walking. The shuttle is great in like now when it's cold, or if they're coming back from the Fork, the shuttle picks up right there across the, basically at the front door and takes them all the way back. And I would say, Caitlin, don't you think everybody pretty much uses both the walking and the shuttle?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. The only thing about the grocery store, and the mentors do those grocery runs, King Soopers, Safeway, they're like, I don't know, what,
Trader Joe's.
5 minutes away.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, those, and that's set up in their calendars when they have grocery runs, when they do the meal plans and what groceries they need, the grocery lists and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say for you,
Hmm.
UNC, that we are a very walkable campus, and that there is transportation available. And so it's right by the library. And so it is a walkable campus. It's not like UCCS, but like UNC is so much bigger. So it's like
I've-
easy for like people to be more independent and walk themselves out. We're pretty much easy.
Good question though, Amber. I appreciate that. And Caitlin, I'm curious from your perspective, like your first year, if you could think back to your first year, what was it like for you to go to and from classes? Like, how did you navigate that?
2019.
Or this year? You can talk about this year too. I keep going back to your freshman year. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. So sorry, what was your question?
So like, how do you go to and from classes? Like, does that feel overwhelming? Do you feel like you have a good rhythm? How do you navigate?
No, I have a good rhythm.
And I think too, Amber, students are taking fewer classes, so they're not like running from class to class typically. They tend to have a good chunk of time in between classes. So for like things on their calendar day to day, there's plenty of time for them to make that little walk across campus as needed.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. That's very helpful. Sometimes it's hard when you're touring to get a sense, so.
Yeah.
And we did walk all over UNC, and that campus is beautiful. It's a beautiful campus, and Regis as well. I'm a little bit curious as to why Regis isn't part of the panel. Why didn't people select Regis, or what's going on with Regis?
Yeah, so Regis just started this fall. So this is their first like pilot semester, which is really exciting. So right now IN works with 3 schools that are CTP certified, which essentially is a designation from the Colorado Department of Higher Ed that says that they're fully inclusive and that they are like working students towards meaningful vocational goals. And Regis is in the process of getting approved for that. So we haven't been directly connected with Regis previously, but they're coming into the fold. And they have the same model of inclusion and helping students reach their goals, but they're really just at that beginning pilot stage. And so hopefully by the spring, they'll have that CTP status, they'll have space for more students, and they'll be a part of these conversations a little bit more.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
There's a question in the chat that I can answer, that says about, advice for people who are thinking about college, but doesn't know what to study or how to help them get started. With college, it can be very difficult at first to learn what you want to study. I even had trouble at first because I did not know like what I wanted to study. But the good news about college for 4-year people is that you keep learning about what you want to study all 4 years. And there are actually college professors and very helpful people on campus, including peer mentors, of course, that could actually help you direct your student to the right path that they wanted to take. So for example, like I wanted to be a child life specialist, but you have to take classes like psychology that are based on the classes that you take are based on the career that you want to choose. But for freshmen, you guys don't even have to start that yet. But like once you go to like sophomore, junior, senior, that's when you deep into about what your career might want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Noah, I'm curious if you want to speak to that because you work with freshmen coming in. So do you work with students that don't really know what they want to study yet?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Most of
I
them
usually
tend to
have
have a
like
goal.
our academic coordinator that will help them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's a great point. So there's going to be an academic coordinator at these schools that kind of help them, as Maggie was talking about, like plan and start to strategize, but they don't have to have it figured out. Did any of our students on this panel, have you guys changed your major or did you guys always stick with the same major?
I kept it.
through and through. Noah, did you ever change your major?
I did not change my major. I stayed with mine.
Okay, I know Max and Maggie, this is your first semester, so I'm assuming you haven't changed your major yet, but maybe.
I have not, thank goodness. And I'm still sticking to child life specialist. If I change my mind, I will let everyone know, but usually it's just child life specialist. So that's the path that I'm going to. So I did not change any major yet, which I'm super happy that I didn't change anything.
But even if you did,
Can I
it's
throw
super
something
common for
out
that to
there?
happen. Yes, please, Lisa, I would love that.
So especially for students that are in middle school or still in high school, a resource to look at is Think College. And one of the things that was really cool about finding Think College years ago was that they have really great interactive thinking games. What are your interests? Almost like those tests that we used to take back in the day of what are you interested? Well, this is the career for you. But Think College has some really cool, almost game-like interactive resources to zero in on what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what are you interested in, and can kind of filter that.
Yeah, that's a great input, Lisa. There's also something that a lot of the program staff use to help students figure out what they're interested in is onetonline.org. So that's a website where you can just search general interests and it lists a whole bunch of types of jobs that would fall under that industry. So it gives some variety to students. And as I mentioned, the program staff still use that. So they're not expecting them to nail it on the front end. But that's a really good resource to use before students go to college too. So thinkcollege.net and onetonline.org. And I can send that in the email that I send out to you guys afterwards.
And I
Good
think
question.
DBR also uses ONET.
Mm-hmm.
So when they're trying to get that plan going through DBR, I think they use that as well. They really look through to see if there's a good match.
Yeah. Question. Thanks, Caitlin, my scribe in there. I appreciate you.
I didn't agree on the last one though.
I think you got it.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So I'm thinking about maybe transferring to UCCS. Well, can anybody describe whether it's like to live alone or how did you conquer your fear of living alone?
Good question, Max. Noah and Maggie, we're going to look at you for those.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was the question?
How is it like living with roommates or living alone? And how did you conquer your fear in living alone or independently?
So at first it is pretty difficult, but once you know your routine, that's like how you would feel comfortable. Like for me, I already knew I was ready to like be independent. So it was pretty, and how I navigate through that is to just make sure that the things are done that you need to have in your list to be done. And so like, for example, doing laundry every single weekend, making sure that you take showers. If you have any questions, like text your peer mentors or whatever, like just to let you know, like being on top of things is the way that you should go, and not letting go of things that you need to get done first are always what I want to say is that like, just make sure you have a process in your mind that lets you know what things need to be done before you could actually do something fun that you really want to do. So that's what I would say, is to just follow your path and do stuff that you need to do anything else.
Awesome. Noah, would you add to that from living on campus or living independently now with a roommate?
I guess like living on my own, I was kind of like prepared to like live on my own without my parents around me all the time.
Okay, so did you ever have to like ask peer mentors for some support or guidance as you were figuring that out?
No, not really.
You're a pro. You're a pro. Well, I love what Maggie mentioned too. So Noah, who just jumped in and felt like he was ready to roll, which is awesome. But Max, it's also really common for students to feel nervous, but having like structure, I think is what Maggie's sitting on, having kind of a rhythm and asking your peer mentors for guidance when you don't know how to navigate certain situations. I think that's a great way to respond, Maggie. Does that answer your question, Max?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Maggie.
Well, and I think the peer mentors and the staff also help on self-advocacy.
No
to
problem.
help
I
them.
think that peer mentors are like you have people that are in with you at that are in college, making sure that when you need support, they're always there for you. So that's why I would say keep on going and make sure you have peer mentors that are going to be available to help you when you need it. Because sometimes things can be difficult and parents know that also. And so sometimes you probably don't want to reach out to your parents, but sometimes when you need to reach out to your peer mentors, make sure you do that. And when your parents want to reach out to peer mentors too, which I know it never happens, but whatever the case is for the college, but reach out to people that you probably need when you need help the most. So yeah, that's what my advice is, to reach out to people when you need it.
I love that. Well, and Kim was just mentioning stuff about the staff and how that's another resource. So go ahead, Kim, about that.
Yeah, the staff and the peer mentors both were really good at working Noah with his self-advocacy skills. Because Noah's kind of independent, if you can't tell. And sometimes he doesn't want to ask for help. He wants to navigate it himself. But he's grown the last few years and is able to say, yeah, I can't do this, or I don't understand this, and is able to vocalize that and ask for that help. But as the freshmen and incoming students, I'm sure Noah's working with them right now as well to make sure that they speak up and ask for that help. You're not in there alone. You've got the support from the peer mentors and the staff, and they're all amazing. So use them.
Awesome. I love that, Kim. That's a great note to end on. So we are at 3:01, so I want to honor your time and just say thank you, panelists, for sharing your stories and your words of wisdom. I love all of your passion and different experiences. For those that are attending, if you guys have additional questions that have just popped up, please feel free to send them to me in an email. I'd be happy to reach out to our panelists and get their responses for you. So feel free to do that. But I just want to say thank you guys for coming and sharing your experiences. You guys are the reason why we do what we do. And so we're so proud of you students and grateful for you parents that are supporting along the way. So thank you all for coming. Yeah, I'll hang tight for a couple of minutes if you guys have any questions, but everyone is free to go. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend. If you see Georgie, tell her hi for me.
I will. I will.
Bye.